Okay, welcome again for the last session of the day at Tech Unplugged Live. I am Enrico Signoretti and I'm with Martin Cooper.
Hi, I'm Martin Cooper. I'm the Director of Systems Engineering for Solidfire.
So, Solidfire NetApp, we talked about a lot about the acquisition at the time. It's 9 months in, right?
Yes, yeah.
So, what happened in these 9 months about the integration, about everything?
So, for the last 9 months, there have been two real big sort of pieces for us. Firstly, as how we're integrating the Solidfire story into the NetApp world. And also it's been about massive investment from NetApp to us, growing out both our sales team but also our field engineering teams.
So you're talking about this massive investment in the sales, marketing,
Yep.
but also engineering. And I saw in Las Vegas a few months ago the data fabric thing that is taking shape, right?
Yes,
and you're
yeah.
part of this strategy.
Yeah, so today we have an integration into S3, which gives us the ability to talk to all to Vault, which gives us the ability to go and talk out into the sort of cloud. And really from a portfolio perspective, that's the real concentration area that we have now. When we first arrived, we were another all-flash storage system inside the NetApp portfolio. And actually, in hindsight, that wasn't the right way to actually position Solidfire in the context of kind of NetApp. Flash, I've always maintained, is the least interesting thing that we do. And everything that we drive is about the next generation set of consumption models. People that don't want to touch their infrastructure, they just want to provision it via sort of software. And now we're doing the work of making sure that the Solidfire story fits in the NetApp portfolio in that sort of context.
It's quite interesting also to learn from you and your colleague the fact that you have now this very broad lineup of products, okay, and they are starting to integrate together to build this larger, set of solutions. Yep. Also. And so, how the customers, especially the Solidfire customer, are taking this new paradigm from you?
Yeah.
Right?
So there's some quite good examples of customers that were kind of NetApp customers that had no sort of Solidfire and have worked out how Solidfire sits into their sort of world. And other customers that were purely Solidfire storage but actually have requirements around object-based storage, or they want to have a larger file repository, which is stuff that we just don't do. So we're now able to go back to those customers still with the single supplier story, one throat to choke in terms of how in terms of a support sort of story, and also one place to make your investments, but also provide a more holistic set of sort of services now. And the work around data fabric and the work around next generation data center is really all about stitching a cohesive story together, where Solidfire is a part of that sort of story.
Also, I have seen in Las Vegas now that you have this FlexPod initiative with Solidfire also.
Yes.
So, does it mean that NetApp is helping you to get with these vendors and to build a solution together?
Yeah. So one thing that the FlexPod story has been is massively successful in the partner world, and it's given them an ability to take the NetApp technology to market in a differentiated way, in the form of a sort of a converged infrastructure. And so the first piece of work that we did was to work out how to extend a FlexPod, to put Solidfire in the FlexPod as part of a FAS environment. And the work that's coming through next is to produce a FlexPod, as was announced in Las Vegas, running entirely Solidfire storage services, but those services actually being hosted on Cisco C220 servers. So a single infrastructure plane with Solidfire storage running on it. So not a hyper-converged story, but you could say it's an ultra-converged story in that there's a single manufacturer of the hardware components at the back.
Do you see interest from end users about FlexPod with Solidfire?
It's question number 2. In every partner that I go see, the first question is how's the integration going? And then the second question, Jen, is when are you bringing out a FlexPod? So, okay. and so now we have a roadmap for that to sort of come through. And I think it's going to be a really exciting addition to the sort of FlexPod story.
That's good. What can we expect next by Solidfire and NetApp?
Next? So we've just released our latest GA virtual version of our sort of code, which brings us a really deep integration into the new VMware vVol capabilities. which has picked up a whole bunch of news and a whole bunch of headlines around that. We will continue to develop bigger and faster nodes and do all of those sorts of pieces. But one of the real key pieces of work is to get data integration into the NetApp data fabric story. So bringing technologies like SnapMirror and so on to the Solidfire platform, and brings the Snap Center capabilities that we have, bringing that onto the Solidfire platform, so we can really participate fully in the whole of the data fabric story.
That's great. Thank you, Martin, for your time.
Thank you. See you.